And on that recent layoff at KEMSA continues to highlight the mess at Ave House. While the PS has been sent home packing, questions have risen over the legalities of the tendering process at KEMSA. Our NTV's Helen Aura begins our coverage tonight from here.
I want to give you my commitment. I will clean up KEMSA. Whatever it takes, Mr. President, whatever it costs, I will clean it up.
And cleaning up he did. By sacking PS Josephine Buru, this presidential action appears resolute and sounding a warning shot in his government. The first casualty in the Kenya Kwanza government has opened up a national conversation on the going-on at KEMSA and the larger Ministry of Health. This is how the ministry works. Health CS Susan Nakhumicha as the overall boss, assisted by 2 permanent secretaries. Former PS Peter Tum was in charge of medical services but has since been moved to the Ministry of Youth Affairs, Arts and Sports. Former PS Josephine Buru was in charge of State Department for Public Health and Professional Standards. Troubles and confusion with this latest firing stems from the fact that Global Fund was split into 2. On one side, funding for HIV ran under medical services controlled by PS Tum, while the malaria and TB program under PS Mburu. The mismanagement of the funds being raised by the donor Global Fund was in the docket of PS Mburu.
Principal secretaries, they are the accounting officers of the ministry. So it is expected that, of course, in their day-to-day, then they are expected to interact with institutions when it comes to such matters.
Additionally, sources close to NTV revealed that there has been a looming rift between the 2 PSs. The 3.7 billion shillings tendering process that saw 5 companies lobby for became the centerpiece high stakes, the game that ended up with PS losing her job. Documents shared with NTV show that Josephine sent the then CEO of KEMSA, Terry Ramadhani, an email on the 21st of February, raising some inconsistencies in specifications, asking Terry to put a pause on the tendering process. On receiving the email, Terry then wrote to Global Fund asking for an extension of closing dates for the tender. On their part, Global Fund, on receiving this communication, noticed something was amiss and triggered an investigation since.
After we have finished with a tender evaluation for a global funded project, we give the feedback to them. We give a report to them, then we seek their concurrence. They can either concur or not concur with reasons. So in this case, they did not concur with what had been done at KEMSA, and they gave their reasons for not concurring. There were differences between how the tenders were evaluated. So I want to call it that way. In terms of loss of funds, not as yet.
I don't think that this is the only scandal that they have in KEMSA. I think within a short period of time, you're going to be seeing hemorrhage in this government.
The Global Fund, in its investigation, picked out that something was amiss. Several companies had bid for the 3.7 billion tender. One company seemed to be a holding company and had been shortlisted among the other companies. Patek East Africa, a company linked to a relative of a senior political government official, which did not appear credible enough to carry out the tender, raised eyebrows among Global Fund executives. With questions being raised about this specific company and its inclusion, PS Mburu, noticing her plot had unraveled, attempted to okay the tender as it were and seeking the process to continue with a company that had been flagged. It was a little too late. With a threat to pull out on funding, sources close to NTV revealed that President William Ruto sent PS Tum to Vietnam last week Wednesday to try and calm the nerves of Global Fund not to take away funding from Kenya. This comes as Global Fund had indicated going another route using the wambo.org website, which would have seen Kenya lose 74 million shillings. Helen Aura, NTV.